All right, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by MDI high school football coach Mark Shields. And coach, a tough loss to the Mount Ararat Eagles on Friday, 28 nothing. It was uh, a game of big gains for the Eagles. Talk to us about your impressions.
Yeah, it was a tough one. We were hoping that we could compete better than what we did, especially in the first half. Um, getting down four scores at halftime, it's almost impossible to come back uh, against that. And, I felt in the second half we played much better, especially defensively. It was a 0-0 game in the entire second half, but, at that point, we're too far out of it. So, yeah, you're right. They have some strong backs, and I really did believe that we could stop them, and we did struggle. I made some adjustments, personnel wise, switched some kids around, and scheme wise that seemed to help us in the second half. So I take some responsibility as well. I wish I'd run that scheme more in the first half, but hindsight's 2020, as they say. So yeah, they just, they're, like we said, very well coached. They have a strong offensive line and strong backs behind them. And, we struggled stopping them. We just had a hard time. We didn't tackle real well in the first half. And they got outside of us a little bit more than I thought they might. Last year's team, Mount Ararat's team, they had a real fast kid that we had trouble with. He graduated, but their fullback, number 33, he's strong and he has decent speed. And then they had another tailback that they gave the ball to as well, and they block extremely well. I mean, I'll give their coaches credit. Whoever their line coach is, those guys are solid, and they pull a lot of guards, so they try to outman you at the point of attack, and they definitely did. So, yeah, that was disappointing, but like I said, I was pleased. I told the kids after the game, I felt as though we played even with them in the second half, which we did. Let's take that as a win. Let's build on that. And I tell the kids every week, win or lose, we're trying to get better. So we'll break down tape, look at tape and try to learn from it and try to improve for our next opponent.
They seem to have, excuse me, they went with a lot of quick hitting um plays up the middle, and they were kind of in a hurried up offense too as well, which we haven't seen for the first time this year.
Yeah, so they run the fullback dive and the fullback trap basically right over their center, which is smart against us because I was sitting in a 40 most of the night. And the 40-man front, a four-man front, is I'm head up on their guards and not head up on their center. So that opens up that gap for them to hit hard, and they did. And you're right, they're quick hitters. They did some on first sound plays, and so that gave us trouble. And yeah, they just were able to, open some holes up in the middle and on the edges, which, that's not going to be good news for us. And then in the second half, we shut all that down for the most part.
Yeah.
But once again, it was too little too late.
Well, and they seem, I know that I think I had spoken to was it Chris James, that he expected that they were going to stack the center and dare you to run, and running was hard on their defense.
Yeah, offensively, we just couldn't get anything really going. We had a couple of drives that we started to get into rhythm, but we really, most of the night, we just could not get into any sort of rhythm and keep them on their heels. And you're right, they're solid up front. They have good linebackers, and they were able to basically control the line of scrimmage most of the night, which obviously gave us fits on both sides
Right.
of the ball. And, we tried to throw the ball a little bit more. I think we threw the ball maybe 10 times compared to 0 against Waterville. So our coaches, to their credit, they worked hard on that all week to try to open up the pass game a little bit. And we did complete a few out in the flat, but we got to get more consistent at that for sure. Our teams are just going to load the box on us every night.
Right, right, exactly. Well, so now you come up with a huge match at Ellsworth this Friday night. The good news is the game will be on the radio as the Red Sox um, will not be playing Friday. Hopefully, they're playing. Hopefully, it's just Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. They'll win against the Yankees and then start on Saturday against Toronto. So I'll have the game on the radio. Um, Anytime Ellsworth and MDI play, it's exciting. But in football, it's been a long, long, long time. I think maybe back to the Dwayne Crawford days. I was trying to remember how long ago it was, but it's had to have been a good 6, 7 years, maybe. I don't know, maybe since Ellsworth and MDI have met in a regular season game.
So we did face them. I know my son was on the team. Spencer
Oh, okay.
Lorendo was
So it's
our,
5 years then.
yeah, so I think it was 5 years ago. Um, we went up to Ellsworth. I think that was the last time we played them. Uh,
Right.
and then they've been playing in the 8-man small school league. We've been in the 8-man large school league. So we haven't, and even with our crossovers, which kind of surprised me, I thought we would probably play them in crossover games, um, but we haven't. So yeah, it's great that we're finally playing them again. I think it's great for football in this area. People get excited about that. They're our rival. Um, it's a big game for both teams. They just came off a huge win against Waterville. We're
Yeah.
coming off a loss. Both teams are trying to jockey their way into the playoffs. Um, so it's a big night for both of us, and and they're a team that's greatly improved over the years. And I've of course broken down tape on them over the weekend, and they're a fast team. They're going to have more team speed than we will have. They're going to have probably two
Uh,
of the fastest kids on the field, number 1 and number 33.
yeah, that's Will Renwick, their quarterback, and then Ripley Stroud, who ripped off 294 yards against Waterville.
Yeah, yeah, he was a beast. So that's concerning. Their team speed is very concerning, especially me as a defensive coordinator. So, and they have some good size up front. They have some good players up front, some solid guys. We had them for our preseason scrimmage this year, and we had trouble with a couple of their guys up front blocking them. So they're going to be a handful. Both teams are going to be, pretty jacked up for this one for sure. We are rivals and we haven't played them for a while, so it's exciting. I think it's going to be, there should be a huge crowd up there, hopefully, and um, it could be
Yeah, I
their
mean,
homecoming. I don't know, but
no, they had homecoming this past weekend, but I mean, the weather's going to be gorgeous. MDI is 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes away from Ellsworth. It and I know they're letting in the youth. They're going to call the area youth. They're going to invite the AYS teams to run out onto the field and introduce them along with the Ellsworth um, youth football. So I mean, it should just be what Friday night football should be.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, there's a big crowd on both sides.
And I mean, if you look at it, man, gosh, I mean, I would tend to think it could be a high scoring game. Not as a defensive coach, that's not what you want to hear. But I mean,
No,
with Waterville, I mean, with Ellsworth putting up so many points against Waterville, it'll be very, very interesting to see how this plays. And I would think whoever um wins this would have a good chance at a home playoff game as we get into playoffs. Because I mean, believe it or not, this is week 5 coming up, and we've talked about how quickly this season goes. I mean, you more so than way more so than me, but I mean, involved in it on a day-to-day basis. But it's hard to believe that 5 weeks ago we were starting the regular season.
yeah, I know, right? So yeah, you know, you look at, like I said, you look at the conference, and I mean, Camden Hills right now is number one in the North, and then there's like three or four, the other
It's
four teams.
MDI and then it's Ellsworth. I mean, but
Bolton's
the
right
top,
there.
yeah, the top five of those, well, there are five in the North and the top four go into the playoffs.
Right, right. And, of course, you want to try to have a home playoff game in the first round. I mean, I think the championship will definitely run through Camden Hills, but the other three teams are jockeying to try to get that second place spot.
Right,
So this is huge for that, no doubt about it, for both
right.
teams.
All right. Well, I any you treat this differently as it's an away game, even though it's kind of a semi-home game. You won't have a team dinner this Thursday night. You stay with your routine.
Yeah, we'll stay with our routine. So our away weeks, we have yoga with Charity Olson. So she's will be coming up Thursday after practice, after our pregame practice. It'll be nice. It's not like driving back from Lake Region, right? It's like we're not going to get
Right.
back at 2 a.m. We hopefully I won't stop and have them eat. That doesn't make any sense. So we're just going to
Right.
at the game. We're just going to fly home, and hopefully we'll be home by 10 o'clock
There
maybe.
won't be much open between Ellsworth and Bar Harbor on a Friday night, unfortunately, this time of the year, that you could stop and get something to eat. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, board the bus, be home, and
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
will
They
be
can do
home
anything
early.
back. They can
Yeah.
get food at home.
Even I'll be home early that night, so that works. All right, Coach. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Have a good week, and again, thanks so much for taking your time in the Allen Insurance and Financial Coaches Show. Have a good week.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.